computer. Now we're recording, so you can do a shorter version of your introduction.
I'm just going to go right into welcome to the Heat Team Call on August 29th, 2017. We're very excited to have Sean Hopkins, Vice President of Product Research and Market Intelligence, joined us through the Canadian office in September of '93, and where he had just finished his schooling at the University of Western Ontario, where he studied economics. So Sean has traveled well with the company, the Juice Plus company. 4 years in the Canadian office in sales and marketing. He then took on assignments in the U.S. for 4 years, Japan for 4 years, and I think you can confirm this, Sean, that you became fluent in Japanese.
I should have.
Yeah, okay. And
I did certain things really well.
Yeah, okay. You're good around a restaurant. Got it. And then Sean went on over to the UK and worked in that office for a year. So he's done various global business development roles, returned to the US in 2005, and we were just talking, he's done a lot of things more than we can talk about right here. He's done just about everything you can do in the home office. He now, very deservedly, serves as the Vice President of Product Research and Market Intelligence. His team is responsible for the technical and the quality aspects of our product lines, and we're very excited what he's going to share with you tonight. He also oversees our ongoing clinical research program, which currently has, I think, over 35. Are we at 37?
37, yeah.
37 published trials, 5 underway, and others under consideration. He'll update those stats. His market intelligence team publishes business intelligence globally, focusing on positive trends and underlying key learnings. This team has enabled the company to better understand the drivers and barriers to sales momentum. He is currently in a global conference with all the leaders around the countries that do Juice Plus. And he has 2 daughters and enjoys playing ice hockey, golf, slalom, water skiing. And we've done some water skiing together. We're going to do some more in a couple of weeks. We've done some pretty impressive snow skiing together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen you on the hockey court rink, but I heard you're pretty good. I heard that from you. So
you heard that from me, so he said.
Yeah, but anyway, some of you know that really to be successful in our business, you have to have 4 beliefs in place. And the first 2 beliefs are beliefs in the product and beliefs in the company. And you can find out the other 2 from somebody later. But this is what I'm so excited to have Sean with us tonight, because you're going to see who this company is behind us and what an incredible person he is himself, and what a fine job he's doing in this new position. So welcome, Sean, and I hand it over to you.
Thank you, Chris and Nikki, and thanks for having me on the call tonight. I'm really looking forward to being out there with you in just a couple of weeks. And it just came to me that I'll actually, while I'm there, be celebrating the conclusion of my 24th year with the company on the 15th and entering into my 25th. So maybe we can have some kind of fun around celebrating that. So, spending time with you guys in the field and participating in events like that is some of the best time we can spend to really stay connected to the leadership and be great stewards on your behalf when we're back here trying to build the support for you. So tonight I kind of want to share the journey we've been on with the latest product of ours, which we're very excited about. And, for us, a product introduction doesn't happen very often, and that's intentional. We have long believed that maintaining a narrow product line was critical for us. I think it's one of the best things we've ever done and best things we've held on to. It's really unheard of in the nutrition business or in direct selling, even within nutrition. That focus, that simplicity has paid off big time for us. We've also been committed for 24 years into our 25th around plant-based, whole food-based products that are minimally processed. And also, we're never going to bring a product to the market that doesn't serve long-term health benefits. So for us to get to a point where we introduce something new is a big deal, something that's taken a lot of thought, a lot of preparation. Also, in the last 3 to 4 years, our business has been driven by and connected by the connection, collaboration, and sharing by social media. So we feel like if we're going to launch something, it's got to be a global launch these days. And in fact, this new product is our first attempt at a global launch. And the product I'm talking about is our Juice Plus Omega Blend. Of course, hopefully many people on the call are already trying it and already sharing that product with your customers. I want to give you some insights as to what we went through to bring it to this stage and share with you what's coming next in the future. Like I said, a first attempt at a global product launch. One thing people may not understand, especially outside the U.S., because the landscape outside the U.S. with regard to regulatory is quite strict. Even Canada and Australia are meaningfully more strict than the U.S. But one of the toughest things we had to do was to come up with ingredients that, one, met the standard of our company, and that's a long list of requirements and specifications, but also that were permissible in all 25 countries. And basically, you can imagine the regulatory environments of governments aren't exactly leading edge with all the laws that they've created to define the framework for what's permissible with products like ours. So basically, if you're innovating, you're in the gray area of regulatory. And so it was a ginormous challenge to come up with ideas for a formula for this product. And in fact, we started with a lot more oils than we ended up with. And it was largely because the governments around the world hadn't had a chance to review them to determine that they were safe and efficacious to be put into products like ours. And so that was a huge undertaking to get to the formula that we have that's permissible in 25 countries. And just that alone really was a big contributor to the timeline of the product introduction. Then when you have a product, you got to make it. You got to assemble all these ingredients. And one of the things that we have to confirm is how these ingredients interact once they're inside a capsule. And really, you never know until you put them there together how they're going to interact. We know that they will, we just don't know to what extent. And so one of the biggest things we have to prove is that once we have a product inside a capsule, that it's stable, and that any kind of declaration on the label in terms of content is going to be stable over the course of the shelf life that's indicated on the product. So in this case, it's 2 years. We have to be able to prove over time that anything quantified on the label stays within a certain range. And to do that, you have to take it through what we call accelerated stability testing. So that took a considerable amount of time to ensure that we'd be able to support that over time. And then because of the path we're on with plant-based capsules, we wanted to push the envelope on putting oils into a capsule like the one we're going to end up having. And some people have probably seen at conference us talk about the plan we have for plant-based capsule. In fact, for the first time in the history of the company, the U.S. is the last country to go, in the case of Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard, to a plant-based capsule. We are hustling to be ready for that by the end of the year. We'll certainly be able to give you a concrete update at conference in terms of where we'll exactly be at. That's mostly a supply chain thing, ensuring we can get consistent supply for our number one market in the world by far, in the U.S. for capsules. So when we thought about putting these oils from our Omega product into a capsule, we work directly with the manufacturer of the capsules themselves. They, in fact, are the people that assemble the oils and put them in the capsule. And this is the first time a product like ours has been put into a two-piece capsule. And in fact, much of the development time was around the capsule itself. And there's been some meaningful development really since Anaheim when we revealed the branded product. And basically what they had to do was to figure out how they could create a capsule that would lock together. It's two pieces that has kind of a locking mechanism inside and then fuse together through a special process that's patented by them so that it could contain these oils and ensure that they were sealed off of oxygen so that they wouldn't age. They wouldn't age because of the exposure to the oxygen. So that went through multiple stages of development and even some recent ones since Anaheim. So that took a ton of work to really figure out, and we've got it to a great place now. This capsule is plant-based. It's made from tapioca, and exact same capsule, just a little bit longer than the ones that will be used in the U.S. and are already in use around the world. Looking forward to bringing that to Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard by the end of the year. But a lot of other thoughts around this product were to draw as many parallels as possible to Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard. We wanted a little bit of more things. We wanted a broad array of ingredients. We wanted to bridge a gap. We wanted to provide as many parallels so that the familiarity of the messaging around Omega Blend could be as close to Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard as possible. A great processing story, minimally processed, minimally invasive in terms of taking raw materials and converting them into a concentrated version inside a capsule. So to us, this product is a close sibling to Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard. It's being branded just like that. The marketing collateral that you'll see come out over the course of the next year or so will look very familiar to you, because we're going to be drawing on as many parallels as possible. One difference you'll notice, though, and that's the case only for the U.S., which is another interesting fact, is that we have a nutrition facts panel and a food label for Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard in the U.S. We're actually pretty much required to move to a supplement facts panel for Omega Blend. The reason for that is if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to showcase the numbers, the composition, the numbers, the contribution numbers of each of the different omegas. And so we have omega-3, omega-5, omega-6, omega-7, omega-9. The big contributors of those in the 3s is an algal oil. This is an oil that we work directly with the raw material supplier to get it to our standards. It took a long time. We knew who these guys were years ago. They just couldn't really get things in terms of their process to where we felt like it was minimally processed. So the algal oil is the big contributor on the omega-3 side. Pomegranate seed oil is a big contributor of omega-5. And sea buckthornberry, a big contributor of omega-7 in terms of being dominant contributors. Now, they all contribute little bits of a lot of things. And a lot of people ask, well, why would you include 6s and 9s in there? You know, because there's this position out there that Americans maybe consume too much and they're out of balance on their 6s compared to other omegas, 6s compared to 3s in particular. Whereas in Europe, it's considered that they're not as out of balance. And our answer to that is we didn't formulate to get to a certain level of 6s and 9s. We processed in a way that the 6s and 9s came along for the ride. You know, where we weren't creating a process that isolated or excluded anything. And so they're there in nature's balance coming from the oils that we selected. And we believe that there will be a synergistic effect with those oils, just like we believe and know there is because of our clinical research around the variety of fruits, vegetables, and berries in our orchard, garden, and vineyard. So we've also been able to meet standards, which wasn't easy either, of ensuring that it was 100% non-GMO, that we can maintain a gluten-free status for products like this, nothing artificial, no preservatives. It's already kosher certified. It's on its way to be NSF certified. So interesting backstory on the flavor. You'll see we added some natural flavors into the product. There's a vanilla oil, an orange peel oil, and a rosemary oil. And those were added late into the development of the product. And they were largely added because there was a time when we were using a previous generation of the capsule, previous to the one we actually went live with. And that previous generation was unexpectedly allowing the algal oil to pass through the polymer of the capsule preferentially. So only the algal oil was passing through. So what we were experiencing was the smell of algae, for some the taste of algae, on the outside of the capsule. And with that generation of capsule, that was pretty much a no-go for the product. So that's why we had to accelerate to the recent generation, the generation of the capsule derived from tapioca. But that was a complete mystery to the scientists that do nothing but build capsules, build machines that make capsules. Nobody foresaw that their polymer would preferentially allow the algae to pass through. And yet you could take those same capsules that were not pleasant and cut them open, and the oil inside would smell exactly like you thought it would, like the seeds, natural, not a strong algal oil aroma at all, like they would if you open them up today. And today you'll also get a glimpse of the orange and the vanilla probably. And lots of people are actually enjoying that, including their kids. So just a little backstory on what it took to get the product to where it is today. We also believe strongly that we should stage the launch of the product. We did that with Vineyard Blend years ago, 17 or 18 years ago. We did that for many reasons. One, we wanted product experience for our leadership, for them to buy into and get acquainted with and understand how we were going to work together to create shared learnings to figure out how this new product was going to fit in at the point of sale. We wanted to get a sense of demand. So one of the phases that we're in right now actually is to limit who can buy. And right now it's to sales coordinators and above around the world. And they're permitted to sell to up to a maximum of 5 customers. And that was intentional so we could see a sense for how fast they would fly off the shelf and how, what kind of supply chain pressure we'd be under. And that occurred in the US in April, and in Europe across the continent in one evening. It was an interesting launch. They did dinners in multiple locations across Europe and launched the product at a dinner. And that was in late May. But what happened in both cases was the participation of the eligible representatives was in the mid-80s to high 80s of those who could have done anything with it, jumped in right away. They sold to more customers faster than we anticipated, and we had a pretty strong sense of their ability to go acquire customers from looking at their history of how fast they can go get them. They went out and got them faster than we thought they would. Another thing that they did very well was they went back to existing customers, and they convinced existing customers to try Omega Blend along with other products that they were taking. And that impressed us at a pace that we didn't expect either. So we were grateful that we staged this launch, and the next stage will take place at conference, where we'll open up to everyone being able to buy the product themselves, and there being no limits on to whom they could sell them. We also thought that it was important to gather intelligence along the way, and so we've conducted a number of surveys out to the field to understand what they know about the product and the whole concept. And so part of an early stage where we offered a white label product, we asked before they got the product, national marketing directors and select healthcare professionals from around the world what they knew about a product like this, all the things that they had heard about kind of the features and benefits of ours, whether they had taken it before, a product like ours, what it was derived from. And then we went on to do follow-up surveys once they had taken the product for some time and had an experience at taking the product. And that's what I want to kind of take you through now. Basically, sales coordinators and above from the US, several thousand people have responded, and take you through a couple of the interesting findings. More than a third were taking something at the moment that we introduced Omega Blend, and they just switched to our product. Another third of the people used to take something, but they weren't at the moment that we introduced them to Omega. And another third have no experience on it. So 2/3 have an experience with the product. And that resonated throughout all the questions, that the level of familiarity with a product like this was very high, very high. The initial impressions all ranked in the 90th percentile of excellent. around quality of the packaging, visual appearance, overall experience. People are taking it regularly. They're taking the dosage we recommend. They have very interesting expectations about what they'll experience. We asked them what they thought they would experience before they would take the product, and 4 months later, what they believe they're experiencing is in the exact same order of the things they expected. So people are having great experiences, great stories already rolling in about the experience of adding Omega Blend to their Juice Plus product line. These are representatives consuming our products. We asked them about the key features of the product, that it's 100% plant-based, that it's a complement to Orchard Garden Vineyard, that it's from multiple forms of omega, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, gluten-free, non-GMO, like 15 different things. And they're almost all in the 90th percentiles that people already knew these features. So the learning curve was pretty much taken care of already from people's previous experience with an omega product. And they just grasped it really quickly, which relieved us because we were a little bit concerned that the point of sale might be more technical than what they're used to, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It might be more technical, but they're very familiar, so we're very confident about that. The price was also a concern. We knew we'd be in the premium price range. There's lots of products out there. In my opinion, especially the omega-3 market has been somewhat commoditized. A lot of companies jumped in. A lot of companies are guilty in nutrition of not adding value. So they just do everything to produce the cheapest product possible. And that kind of commoditizes things. And so that's not what we're about at all. We're about adding as much value as possible, not just inside the product, but within the experience of taking the product and the education, inspiration, and motivation that comes from being part of our communities. But the perception of the price that we went to market with was very well received. 95.93% say that they believe the product is worth the price, that they would recommend it to others. 97.16 said they'd be willing to recommend it to others. So very high acceptance. We're super excited about what this will bring, how it'll complement our existing product line. Another thing that we saw was people were very good at combining it with other products. We call that bundling. So what are they doing to kind of meet customers where they're at, to offer them what serves them best in terms of combinations of different products of ours. And both here and in Europe, some very interesting bundling, but with, in particular, a very strong discipline to our foundational products of Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard. So we're working on presenting some very easy to understand options of those different bundles in our marketing collateral. And you'll see that come into play when we get to conference. But like I said earlier, there's not many times that we introduce a product, and this one we think will be a home run. We are in our 25th year of Orchard and Garden, and 17 or 18 of Vineyard. And for most of the 24, 25 years, Orchard and Garden was 85 to 90% of our sales. Today, closer to 70 because Complete has become so strong. But still, for 25 years, to have flagship product that's driven the growth that we have in 25 markets has never been done. And no one else would think that they could pull it off. Most companies would think that's way too risky. And we decided that a narrow product line was smart. And we decided if we're going to have all our eggs in one basket, then we're going to build the best basket we can. And that's research. Clinical research to prove in the most objective form there is that our products perform. And so like Chris mentioned earlier, 37 already published, 5 underway, another 5 or so under contemplation, meaning we're trying to come to contract with universities to conduct the trials. We definitely are committed to clinical work with Omega Blend. We wouldn't do it without including ARMS combining Omega with Orchard, Garden, and Vineyard, because we want them to be we want them to be sold together and experienced together. Other research is also definitely including Juice Plus Complete Shake Mix, because it's become such a powerful, prominent product for us. But, so we're in a position with our research where we can contend, and it's been a long time that we've contended this, that we have the most researched products of our kind in the world. And yet here we are at a time in the history of the company that we've never had more research underway than any other time. We have what they call an impact score of approaching 110. That's off the charts. Basically, it would be hard for anyone to catch us, and yet we still have pedal to the metal, because we believe that's a competitive advantage for you, and what better position to put you in to be able to say that you have the most researched product of its kind in the world, and how could we better honor our customers than to prove that in the most objective form that our products really pack a punch. So that's what we've been up to, Chris, around Omega. Super excited about heading into Indy and beyond as we work together to make Omega Blend just as legendary a product as its other three siblings.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sean. And again, I can say after 26 years with the company, you all never cease to amaze us. And we appreciate there's so much that you take care of in the detail and the backup supply and everything that most of us don't even think about, but it guarantees a stable and lasting company, right? That will allow a lot of us, as many people as possible, to realize our dreams. And as I say that as our mission statement, I just want to remind the audience that that's not just about the distributor base. With this product line and with the addition of the Omegas, it's people cannot realize their dreams without their health. So, when we talk about that, allowing as many people as possible to realize their dreams, it's not just us as distributors. It's all the people that we can go out and share and make a difference. And just couldn't do it without the thoroughness and professionalism that you guys continue to display. So, again, I want to say, if you want to get this directly from the Vice President's mouth, join us at our regional here in Ashland, Oregon on the 15th and 16th of September. And we will go from the presentation on Saturday right to the lake, Sean, so you'll get to see that, and you'll have some private time with Sean and our other trainers. So
can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to join you there, Chris.
So I want to remind everybody to unmute themselves. You had something else to say?
That's what I was going to say.
Cool. Why don't you say it?
All right.
So please unmute yourselves, and let's give Sean a nice huge thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
See you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.